Welcome to a journey that could truly change your life. Imagine this. You hear someone's name and just seconds later, it's gone. You study for hours only to sit in an exam and draw a blank. You walk into a room and suddenly you can't remember why you're there. Your mind feels cluttered, overwhelmed with too much information, yet the important things just slip away. If any of this sounds familiar, then this video isn't just helpful for you, it was made for you. Because right now, you're about to discover a set of steps that can unlock the full potential of your brain. You'll learn how to upgrade your memory and retain anything you want, not just for a moment, but for life. This isn't one of those 5 quick tips to boost your memory kind of videos. No, this is a deep, transformative system designed to rewire the way your brain works, starting today. And here's something even better. While you're learning how to master your memory, you'll also be improving your English. As you listen, you'll hear real, clear, and powerful English sentences. You'll naturally absorb vocabulary, improve your comprehension, and strengthen your speaking skills all at the same time. So, whether your goal is to pass exams, remember everything you read, speak English more fluently, or train your mind to think like a genius, stay with me until the very end. Because if you truly apply what I'm about to share, you'll never forget what matters again. And more importantly, you'll finally know what it feels like to trust your mind again. Let's begin. Step 1. Understand how memory works, the real reason you forget everything. Before you can master the art of remembering everything, you need to understand one crucial thing: why you forget. Most people believe they simply have a bad memory. They say things like, "I'm not smart," or "my brain just doesn't work that way," or "I can't memorize anything." But here's the truth, and it might surprise you. You don't have a weak memory. You have an untrained one. The real problem is this: no one ever taught us how memory actually works. So let me explain it to you in the simplest, most powerful way possible. Your brain is like a library. Yes, imagine your mind as a vast, beautiful library. Every time you learn something, a name, a date, a fact, it's like placing a new book on a shelf. But here's the catch. If you don't place that book carefully, if you don't label it, if you don't come back to check on it, it gets lost in the noise. That's exactly what happens in your mind. Information enters, but it doesn't stay. Why? Because your brain never moves it from short-term memory to long-term memory. And that's the key. Let's break it down. Short-term memory is like a whiteboard. You write something on it, but if you don't save it, it gets erased quickly. Long-term memory, on the other hand, is like a permanent notebook. Once something is written there, it stays. It becomes part of you. But here's the problem. Most people keep everything in short-term memory. They hear a name, but never repeat it. They read a page, but don't connect with it emotionally. They cram for exams, but never revisit the material. So what happens? The information never makes it to long-term storage, and it disappears. Let's take a simple example. You're at a party. You meet someone new. He says, "Hi, I'm Jason." You smile, shake his hand, chat for a few minutes, and then walk away. Just 5 minutes later, someone asks, "What was his name?" And suddenly, your mind goes blank. Why does this happen? Because your brain heard the name, but it never truly processed it. You didn't repeat it. You didn't connect it to anything emotional. You didn't visualize it. So, it vanished. Now imagine this instead. You meet Jason again, but this time you think, Jason, like Jason Statham, the actor. And funny enough, he does look a little like him. You smile and say, nice to meet you, Jason. Later, you ask, so, Jason, what do you do now? What just happened? Your brain focused. It connected. It repeated. It built a stronger path. And the next time you see him, you remember his name. Effortlessly. Here's the lesson. Memory is not a talent. It's a skill. And like any skill, it starts with understanding how it works. If you keep throwing information into your brain without knowing how it stores it, you'll always feel lost. But if you apply what you're learning right now, you'll finally feel in control. So before we move forward, remember this. Your memory is not broken. Your system is. And today, we're going to build a new system. Together. Step 2. Pay full attention. Because here's a brutal truth. You can't remember what you never noticed. You don't have a memory problem. Here's the truth. You don't have a memory problem. You have an attention problem. You can't remember what you didn't truly see. You can't recall what you never really heard. You can't hold on to something your brain never focused on in the first place. Let me tell you why this matters so much. Because if you don't fix this one thing, your attention, none of the other memory techniques will work. Every single day, your brain is bombarded with millions of pieces of information. Sounds, colors, movements, words, faces, texts, notifications, noises, headlines, voices. If your brain tried to remember all of it, you'd go insane. So it makes a choice. It decides what to keep and what to forget. And how does it decide? Based on your attention. If you focus on something, it stays. If you don't, it vanishes, like it was never there. Your attention is the key that unlocks memory. Let's make it real. You get out of a taxi, you're tired. You're checking your phone. You're thinking about dinner. You pay the driver and walk away, but you accidentally leave your bag in the car. 5 minutes later, panic hits. Oh no, my bag, my passport, my laptop. You try to remember the car's number plate, but your brain gives you nothing. Why? Because your brain was never truly paying attention. You saw the car, but you didn't really look. You heard the driver's voice, but you didn't really listen. Your brain never saved the data because you never told it to. Now imagine this. Just before stepping out of the car, you pause for 1 second. You glance at the number plate. You notice the driver's face. You say to yourself, okay, this is a white Toyota with plate number 8473. That 1 second of focused attention could have saved you everything. But here's what usually happens. You sit in a classroom, or you're watching a video on YouTube. Someone says something important, but your mind is already somewhere else. You hear the words, but they never really enter. You read a sentence, but half your brain is still thinking about that song you heard earlier. You listen to a podcast, but you're also texting a friend at the same time. And later, you say, I studied, but I don't remember. No, you didn't study with attention. You were physically present, but mentally absent. And here's the thing. If your mind isn't here, your memory won't be either. But don't blame yourself. It's not your fault. The world is designed to steal your attention. Social media, notifications, multitasking, noise, all of it is training your brain to stay distracted. But the truth is simple. You can't save a file if you never opened it. So don't blame your memory. Blame the system. And now let's fix it. Blame your focus, not your memory. Because memory always begins with attention. From now on, whenever you want to remember something, stop, pause, look, listen, say it out loud, repeat it in your head. Give it your full attention for just 5 seconds. Because those 5 seconds, they can be the difference between remembering for life and forgetting forever. Now you understand. Attention is the door. If you don't open it, nothing gets inside. And that's why step 2, attention, is the foundation of memory mastery. Now, let's move to step 3. Turn words into pictures. Why? Because your brain doesn't think in words. It thinks in images. Now that you've trained your attention, here's the next secret. Your brain doesn't remember words, it remembers pictures. Let that sink in. If I say the word elephant, what comes to mind? Do you see the letters E-L-E-P-H-A-N-T? Of course not. You see a big gray animal with a long trunk, flapping ears, walking slowly. That's how your brain stores information, as images, not as text. So, if you want to remember anything, a name, a word, a fact, a number, you need to convert it into a mental picture. Let me explain why this changes everything. Words are boring. They're abstract. They don't stick. But pictures are powerful. They're emotional. They're unforgettable. Your brain doesn't know what to do with plain words. But images are alive. They have color, emotion, shape, movement. Let's take an example. You meet a girl named Lily. If you just think Lily equals name, you'll forget it in minutes. But what if you imagine her hair made of white lilies? Or picture her holding a bouquet of lilies while smiling? Now her name is connected to a vivid image. And your brain says, oh, that's interesting. Let's keep it. The more exaggerated, funny, or strange the image, the stronger the memory. Want to remember the word volcano? Don't just picture a mountain. Imagine a giant birthday cake erupting with red-hot chocolate lava. Add sound. Boom. Add smell. Burnt chocolate. It might sound silly, but that's exactly why it works. Because memory is emotion. Memory is movement. Memory is created when your brain says, whoa, that's cool. Let's try it with a list you want to remember. Milk, eggs, book, shoes, cat. Don't memorize like a robot. Create a picture story in your mind. A giant milk carton is reading a book, sitting on a pair of shoes, while a cat wearing glasses watches, and eggs are falling from the sky like snowflakes. Now you're laughing. Now you're seeing. Now you'll never forget. Because your brain remembers stories and images, not bullet points. This technique is used by memory champions who memorize hundreds of words in minutes. by actors who remember long scripts, by language learners who absorb thousands of foreign words, by business speakers who deliver presentations without notes. And now you can use it too. Don't just read, see. From now on, don't just read information. See it, feel it, animate it in your head. Turn names into faces. Turn ideas into pictures. Turn facts into funny images. Because when you do this, your brain will no longer be a leaky bucket. It will become a vault filled with clear, unforgettable pictures. This step alone can make your memory 10 times stronger, especially if you're learning English, new vocabulary, speeches, or anything you want to keep forever. Step 4. Use the story method. Your brain is wired for narrative, not for lists. Here's a life-changing truth. Your brain doesn't like boring facts. It craves drama. It loves characters. It responds to emotion. It remembers stories. And that's why this next memory tool is so powerful. If you want to remember anything in life, wrap it in a story. This method is so effective, it's used by memory champions, Hollywood actors, teachers, stage speakers, even ancient philosophers. Let's talk about why lists don't work. Imagine someone says, "Here's a list. Remember it. Apple, horse, jacket, candle, ice cream, cloud, socks, chair, tree, monkey." Try to memorize it. You might remember 3 or 4, maybe 6 if you really push hard, but after 5 minutes, gone. Why? Because a list is disconnected. Each item is floating alone, no links, no feelings, no relationships. Now let's change the method. Let's use the story method. Instead of memorizing, we create a crazy, funny, emotional story. Ready? A giant apple falls from the sky and hits a horse on the head. The horse screams, runs into a shop, and steals a jacket. He lights a candle to see in the dark, but accidentally melts an ice cream cone. The ice cream explodes into a cloud that rains socks. One sock hits a chair, which grows into a tree. And from that tree, a laughing monkey swings down and gives you a thumbs up. Now pause. Close your eyes. Repeat the story to yourself. You'll remember every word in the exact order. Why? Because now the list is no longer a list. It's a movie inside your brain. Stories have connection. Each thing leads to the next. Stories have movement, which your brain loves. Stories have emotion, even if it's silly. And your brain says, "This is fun." Stories create a visual scene. So now it's not just text, it's memory. That's why children remember fairy tales word for word, but forget their math lesson. That's why movie lines stick in your head for years, but news headlines disappear the next day. Want to remember your to-do list? Turn it into a story. Want to remember foreign vocabulary? Turn each word into an image and build a story. Want to give a speech without notes? Make every point part of a story in your head. You'll never need to memorize again. And here's the best part. The story doesn't need to be logical. In fact, the crazier, the better. Because your brain doesn't hold on to logic, it holds on to surprise. So give yourself permission to be creative, to be weird, even childish. Because this isn't just memory improvement. This is memory liberation. Use the story method. And if you apply it correctly, you can turn anything boring into something unforgettable. That's the superpower of memory. Step 5. Practice spaced repetition, because one-time learning is fake learning. Let me share a painful truth about school, exams, and memory. Cramming is not learning, and memorizing something once doesn't mean it's in your brain forever. Your brain needs time, space, and repetition to save things permanently. This is where spaced repetition comes in. It's one of the most powerful memory techniques in the world, used by language learners, medical students, memory champions, and top performers in every field. Let me explain it in a way even a 10-year-old could understand. Think of memory like writing in sand. You learn something today, you write it clearly. But tomorrow, the wind blows, waves hit, the writing fades. By next week, it's gone. This is called the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve. Yes, it's a real science thing. If you don't review information, your brain forgets it fast. So how do you beat forgetting? Learn it once, review after 1 hour, then after 1 day, then 2 days, then 4 days, then a week, then 2 weeks. Each time you review, your brain says, "Oh, this again? It must be important." And it saves it deeper and deeper. After 5 to 6 spaced repetitions, the memory becomes permanent. It's like turning sand writing into stone carving. Let's take an example. You learn the English word serendipity. It means finding something good without looking for it. You love the word. You feel smart. You tell your friend. But then, you never see it again. 1 week later, it's gone. Why? Because you didn't repeat it. Now let's try the spaced repetition way. Day 1, you learn serendipity. 1 hour later, you write a sentence. I found a beautiful book by serendipity. That night, you say it out loud again. Day 2, you use it in a conversation. Day 4, you write a short story using the word. Day 7, you hear it in a podcast and smile. Day 14, you teach it to someone else. Now that word belongs to you, forever, because you didn't just meet it once, you built a relationship with it. That's how memory works. Many learners use free tools like Anki, Quizlet, or Brainscape. These apps automatically test you using spaced intervals. But even without tools, you can do it on paper. Create a box, write the date, check back every few days. It's not about tools. It's about timing. So many people feel broken. They say, I read this already. Why don't I remember? I studied for 5 hours. Where did it go? The answer is simple. No review equals no memory. One-time learning is like throwing water at a plant and never watering it again. Spaced repetition is like watering it gently again and again until it grows deep roots and stands strong forever. If you apply just one of these techniques, your memory will stop being temporary. It will become permanent, reliable, and ready whenever you need it. Step 6. Use emotional connection, because feelings make memory permanent. Let me now tell you something so powerful that once you understand it, your entire memory will start to change forever. The stronger the emotion, the deeper the memory. Think about your life. Do you remember the clothes you wore 7 days ago? Probably not. But you remember the day someone broke your heart, the time you felt humiliated in class, or that one compliment so genuine it made you cry. Why? Because your brain doesn't just store facts, it stores feelings. And that's why this step is so powerful. If you want to remember something deeply, you must attach an emotion to it. You could read a sentence 10 times and forget it tomorrow. But if one sentence made you cry, made you laugh, made you feel strong, you'll remember it for the rest of your life. That's the power of emotion. It activates a part of your brain called the amygdala, which sends a signal, this is important. Store this forever. So if you want to remember anything, ask yourself, how does this make me feel? Can I connect this to a real experience in my life? Can I find a way to care about this deeply? Let's say you're studying a history date. April 15th, 1912, the Titanic sank. Most people memorize it like a robot. They don't care, so they forget. Now imagine this. You read about how 1,500 people died, how musicians kept playing while the ship sank, how mothers held their children, how lovers whispered goodbye, how some gave up their seats to save strangers. Suddenly, it's not just a date. It's a human story, a tragedy, a reminder of love, loss, bravery. And now, you'll never forget April 15th, 1912, because now you feel it. Every time you learn something, ask, can I turn this into a personal connection? Have I ever experienced something like this? Can I feel joy, anger, sadness, or surprise from this? If yes, your brain will remember it longer. If no, it will treat it like trash and delete it within hours. Even with English vocabulary, don't just learn the meaning. Feel the word. Example, abandon. Don't just say it means to leave. Remember the day someone left you, or when you gave up on something you loved. Now the word lives inside you. Bonus trick. Fake emotion if you must. Sometimes a topic is boring. You still have to learn it. So add emotion anyway. Example, area of a triangle equals 1/2 times base times height. Boring? Try this. Imagine the triangle is a slice of pizza. You're hungry. You only get half. That pain of eating just half a slice of pizza will make you remember that 1/2. Yes, it's silly, but your brain doesn't care about logic. It cares about emotion. Even fake emotion is better than no emotion. If you truly understand and apply this, you'll begin to feel like every lesson is alive. And what is alive never dies. Step 7. Teach what you learn, because teaching is remembering twice. Now let me reveal one of the most underrated memory secrets on Earth. If you want to remember something forever, teach it. Not tomorrow, not next week, immediately, right after you learn it. Because the moment you teach something, you go from receiver to creator. You stop being a student and start becoming the master. And that changes everything. When you teach something to another person, you are forced to recall it clearly, organize it in your mind, and say it in your own words. This forces your brain to rebuild the knowledge from the inside. And anything you can rebuild, you will never forget. It's like carving it into stone. Let's say today you learned the English word procrastinate. You read, procrastinate means to delay doing something. You understand it. But if you walk away and say nothing, your brain says, okay, maybe this isn't important. And within 24 hours, the word is gone. But if you say to your friend, hey, do you know the word procrastinate? It means when we keep delaying things we know we should do, like homework, exercise, or cleaning. I always procrastinate doing the dishes. Boom. Now the word is yours, forever. Now your brain has just built a memory that will never die. Why? Because you didn't just learn it, you used it, you shared it, you taught it. And when I say teach, I don't mean become a teacher. You can do any of these things. Explain what you learned to a friend. Speak it out loud to yourself in the mirror. Write a social media post about it. Record a voice note pretending to teach someone. Make a mini video, even if no one watches. You don't need an audience. You just need to activate the teacher mode inside you. And when you do, you learn deeper than ever before. Students who study and then teach others perform up to 90% better on tests. Doctors who teach new interns remember procedures faster. Even spiritual leaders say, when you teach, you heal twice, once for them and once for you. Teaching is not the end of learning. Teaching is the proof of learning. It's one of the most powerful mental tools in the world. And the best part? It's free, it's fast, it's available to you right now. If you apply this step daily, you'll become a memory machine. And more than that, you'll start inspiring others to learn just by being you. Step 8. Create a mind palace. Because your brain remembers places better than facts. This is one of the most legendary memory techniques in history. It was used by ancient Greek philosophers. It's used by modern-day memory champions. And it's so powerful that people have memorized entire decks of cards, full speeches, hundreds of random facts in minutes. It's called the Mind Palace. And now, I'm going to teach you how to build one. So, what is a mind palace? Your brain is naturally good at remembering places, locations, buildings, rooms, houses, roads. Even after 10 years, you might still remember the house you lived in as a child, the color of the walls, where the couch was, the smell of the kitchen, your favorite corner to hide. Why? Because your brain loves space. It remembers places because places anchor information. Now imagine this. What if you could place any information you want to remember inside a location in your mind? You could walk through your memory like a hallway and collect every detail you want. That's the Mind Palace. Let me walk you through it in simple, beginner-friendly steps. 1. Choose a place you know very well. Your home, your school, your favorite cafe. The place should be familiar, so you can walk through it in your mind easily. Let's say you choose your house. Now, imagine walking through it. Visualize your main door, then the living room, the kitchen, the bathroom, your bedroom, the balcony. Each of these becomes a memory station. Try to picture it as clearly as possible, like a mental video game. Assign memory items to each location. Now, take what you want to remember and place one item in each room using vivid pictures. Let's say you want to memorize the planets in order: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Here's how your mind palace might look. Living room, a pan is on fire. That's Mercury, hot like the metal in a thermometer. Kitchen, a perfume bottle sprays pink fog. That's Venus, the goddess of beauty. Bathroom, a spinning globe in the bathtub. That's Earth. Bedroom, red dust all over the bed. That's Mars, the red planet. Balcony, a giant balloon bouncing like a ball. That's Jupiter, the biggest planet. Stairs, a ring around the stair pole. That's Saturn, with its famous rings. Terrace, an ice cube shivering on a chair. That's Uranus, the cold planet. Gate, a blue ocean splashing at your feet. That's Neptune, god of the sea. Now, close your eyes. Walk through your house. You'll never forget the order of the planets again. Why? Because you're using locations your brain already knows. You're adding visual stories inside those spaces. Your brain associates space with memory, making it stronger and stickier. This is how memory athletes can memorize the exact order of 500 random numbers, because they place them inside their mind palaces. Use cases: memorizing speeches, learning foreign words, remembering facts, numbers, lists, studying for exams, memorizing a daily routine. The mind palace gives you structure, and the brain loves structure. Tips for success: make the images inside your palace as strange and emotional as possible. Review your palace often. Walk through it daily. Keep using the same palace. The more familiar it becomes, the better it works. And don't worry if it feels hard at first. Just like any skill, the more you use it, the more powerful it becomes. And if you truly use it, your brain will no longer be a place where knowledge gets lost. It will become a temple, where everything you need is kept safe, organized, and ready. Step 9. Review before sleep. Because night is when your brain decides what to keep. Here's a fact schools never teach, but it's scientifically proven. What you do in the last 10 minutes before sleep can change what you remember for life. Yes, your brain has a special power at night, and if you don't use it correctly, you're throwing away your best chance to build memory. Let me explain. When you sleep, your brain is not resting. It's cleaning, organizing, storing everything you learned that day. It's like a librarian going through all the books you opened. Keep this. Delete this. Move this to long term. Forget this. Useless. And what tells your brain what to keep? Repetition plus emotion plus timing. So when you review something right before bed, you send your brain a signal. This is important. Save this, please. And it does. Let's say you studied 10 English words in the afternoon. You did well, but you didn't look at them again. Then at night, you scrolled Instagram, watched 10 videos, checked 5 random memes. Your brain says, "Oh, these funny reels are important." He saw them right before sleep, and it keeps them. Meanwhile, your English words, they get thrown out with the trash. Now imagine a new routine. Before bed, you take 5 minutes. You sit quietly. You review your 10 English words. You speak them out loud or silently. You close your eyes, visualize them, feel proud. Then you sleep. Now your brain says, Yes, this matters. Let's move this into permanent memory. You wake up stronger. Here's what you can do each night before bed. Turn off distractions, no phone, no loud music. Open your notebook or flashcards. Review what you learned that day, even just 5 key points. Speak them out loud or silently. Close your eyes, visualize them. Feel proud, then sleep with peace. That simple ritual can change your memory forever. Why this step is special? No extra time needed. It fits into your natural sleep process. Deeply improves memory consolidation, scientifically proven. Builds consistency and discipline. Improves not only memory, but sleep quality and focus. This is a hidden weapon most people ignore, but the masters use it every night. Step 10. Write things down. Because writing is the save button of the brain. There's a reason why people forget what they read, forget what they hear, forget what they see, but they almost never forget what they write. Why? Because writing activates your brain in a completely different way. It slows your thinking down. It forces you to organize your thoughts. It creates a strong physical and mental connection between your hand and your memory. Think of writing as the moment you press save in your brain. If you don't write it, it stays floating. If you do write it, it lands, locks, and lasts. When you hear or read something, your brain is passive. It says, okay, that sounds nice, and often forgets it within minutes. But when you write something with your own hand, your brain becomes active. It says, wait, this is serious. I need to understand this deeply. And that's when true learning begins. Writing doesn't just help you remember the sentence. It helps you understand the meaning behind it. And when you understand, you remember for life. Let's say you're trying to learn the English word resilience. You read the meaning, resilience equals the ability to recover after difficulties. You smile. You understand. But if you don't use it, don't say it, don't repeat it, you'll forget it tomorrow. Now try this. You take your notebook, you write word, resilience, meaning, ability to bounce back after tough times, sentence, after losing his job, he didn't give up. His resilience helped him find a new path. Personal connection, I want to become more resilient in my life too. This process takes 60 seconds, but now the word is no longer just a definition. It's a story, a feeling, a part of your life. You've written it into your brain. Typing is fast, but writing is real. When you type, your fingers move automatically. When you write by hand, you slow down. You feel the letters. You see every shape. That physical action builds deeper memory pathways in your brain. Even science says students who write notes by hand remember better than those who only type or highlight. So if you want real memory, grab a pen, get a notebook, make your learning physical. What to write? New vocabulary, important facts, motivational lines, key ideas from books or videos, quotes that touched your heart, lessons you never want to forget. Writing is your personal library builder. You are building your own mind. And trust me, One notebook written with love is worth more than 10 videos watched without action. From today, build the habit of writing daily, even just one sentence. It's not just good for memory, it's a superpower. Step 11. Use active recall, because testing yourself builds true, unshakable memory. Most people make a huge mistake when learning. They keep looking at the answer again and again, and they think, I understand, I've got it. But understanding is not the same as remembering. The real question is not, can you understand it while reading it? The real question is, can you remember it when it's not in front of you? If the answer is no, then the knowledge is not yours yet. This is where active recall comes in. It's the most powerful and most honest memory method in the world. What is active recall? It's simple. Close the book, close the app, close the video, and ask your brain, can I remember it? No looking, no cheating, no copying. Just you, your brain, and the truth. And that process of pulling the information out forces your memory to get stronger. The more you pull, the more your brain keeps. Let's say you're learning this sentence. Consistency is more important than intensity. You read it, you like it, you understand it, but now, test it. Cover the sentence, ask yourself, what was that quote I just read? What's the meaning of it? Can I say it in my own words? Can I explain it to a friend? Maybe at first you struggle. Maybe you only remember half. That's okay, because that struggle, that's where the real learning is happening. Your brain is trying, working, strengthening. Repeat the process again the next day. Now you'll remember better. Do it again next week. Now you'll remember it for life. Why does this work so well? Think of it like going to the gym. Reading is like watching someone lift weights. But active recall, that's you lifting the weight. And every time you recall something, you're lifting a mental dumbbell, and your brain is growing stronger. Here's how to use it. After reading something, close the book and write what you remember. After watching a video, pause and say out loud what you learned. Use flashcards. See the question, try to recall the answer without help. Before sleep, try to remember 3 things you learned that day. Ask yourself like a quiz. What does that word mean? Can I use it in a sentence? Don't just reread, retrieve, rebuild, recall, because retrieval builds retention. Yes, it feels uncomfortable. Yes, it's easier to just read or watch again. But if you want memory that sticks forever, you must be willing to test yourself in silence. Not in front of an exam, but every single day on your own. That's how champions are built. That's how deep knowledge is created. Make this part of your daily memory routine, and your brain will become unstoppable. Step 12. Protect your mind from overload, because a crowded brain can't remember anything. Let's end this journey with a truth no one talks about, a truth that may be silently killing your memory every single day. Your brain is not meant to carry everything. It's meant to carry only what matters. And right now, your brain is overloaded, full of noise, full of junk, full of information that doesn't belong in your life. You're not forgetting because you're lazy. You're forgetting because your mind is cluttered. If your brain is filled with 10,000 useless notifications, it has no space to store the one thing that could change your life. Let's fix that. Every day you wake up, and the cycle begins. You scroll Instagram before your feet hit the floor. You watch 5 YouTube shorts before brushing your teeth. You check 3 different apps before breakfast. You absorb 100 opinions that aren't even yours. You watch, hear, click, scroll, scroll, scroll. And by 9 a.m., your brain is already exhausted. You haven't even started your day, but your memory is already on strike. This is the hidden enemy of memory. Too much input, not enough silence. Your brain is like a glass of water. If you keep pouring more and more without emptying it, it spills, it overflows, it breaks. And that's why you forget. Let's say you made a mental grocery list in the morning. Buy milk, buy bread, buy apples, buy soap, buy onions. You don't write it down because you're confident. I'll remember. It's just 5 things. But what happens? After making the list, you check your phone, you scroll through 25 notifications, you watch 2 YouTube shorts, you reply to WhatsApp messages, you scroll Instagram, you hear news, you see 10 memes, you jump into a conversation about a Netflix show. By the time you reach the store, your mind goes blank. You remember milk and apples, but forget onions and soap. And you feel frustrated. Why did I forget something so simple? The answer is not that you're stupid. It's not that your brain is weak. It's that your brain was flooded with junk. The important list got buried under a mountain of meaningless content. Not because it wasn't important, but because you allowed too many unimportant things to take up space. Your mind is a garden, not a dump. You must protect your memory like a garden. If weeds grow wild, they choke the flowers. So every day, ask yourself, what am I allowing into my mind? Is this helping me grow or cluttering my memory? Am I building myself or burying myself? If you want better memory, you need better boundaries. How to protect your brain? Start your day in silence. Before touching your phone, give yourself 5 minutes of stillness. Breathe. Set an intention. Let your brain wake up clean. Limit useless information. Unfollow noise. Mute junk. Don't let your brain become a trash bin for other people's distractions. Use journaling to empty your head. Write down your thoughts every night. This helps your mind release stress and remember what matters. Practice digital fasting. Take 1 hour daily with no phone. Just you, your notebook, your thoughts. Watch how your brain feels lighter. Choose what deserves your energy. Not every message needs a reply. Not every video needs your time. Not every thought needs a place in your memory. Protect your mind like you protect your home. You wouldn't let strangers sleep in your bedroom, so why let random content live rent-free in your brain? You cannot have clarity, power, focus, or purpose if your brain is drowning in distraction. This is not just a tip. This is a requirement for mental survival in today's world. Because memory is not just about learning. It's about making space for what matters. From today, be ruthless about what you allow into your mental world. You only get one brain. Don't waste it on noise. That was Step 12, Protect Your Mind from Overload. It is the final filter. the ultimate discipline, the silent superpower that will take your memory to a new level and your life in a new direction. Now you know the 12 proven steps to remember anything for life. Not just tricks, not just tips, but real, powerful, transformational strategies that will help you remember faster, speak better English, learn anything deeply, feel confident in your mind again, and finally, take control of your focus, attention, and learning forever. But let me remind you of one thing. Knowing these steps is not enough. You must live them, practice them, use them. Because real memory isn't about genius, it's about daily decisions. Do you write what you learn? Do you teach what you remember? Do you protect your brain from overload? Do you review before sleep? Do you visualize? Do you build your mind palace? Do you repeat with feeling? Do you clear mental clutter? If the answer is yes, then welcome. You're not just someone who remembers well, you're becoming someone who remembers what matters. This video isn't just about memory, it's about awakening the real power inside your mind. And one last thing before you go. This video is not only a gift for your memory, it's also amazing for your English. Every sentence, every word, every step has helped you grow in focus, in clarity, in English understanding. So if you loved this video, if you want more content that makes you smarter, stronger, and fluent, then don't forget to subscribe right now. Because on this channel, we don't just learn English, we become the best version of ourselves in English, in life, and in memory. Your mind is ready. Let's go make it unforgettable.